Welcome back. Indeed, we're speaking with the guest whom has just been introduced, Mr. Fatai Owoseni, who is a former Commissioner of Police in Oyo State, I beg your pardon, in Benue State. Well, he's also served as CP in Lagos State as well, but he did serve in Benue State for roughly about a year. And he joins us this morning to take a look at not just the responses so far to the crisis in Benue State, but also what precisely could have triggered this latest wave of violence. It's good to see you. Welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you. Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
I'm sure that the places that were mentioned, Yelwata in Guma local government area, you're no stranger to that place. You also, saw the protest that happened in Makodi with people asking that their lives be protected, with people asking for better from the government that, should be serving them. And I do know that, that certainly would have got you thinking as to what precisely could have happened this time around. So as somebody who served in the state, who has been privy to previous intelligence, because we know that this is not the first time this has happened in Benue State. This is the latest in a long line of attacks that have happened to the people of the state, even this year alone. What exactly would you say explains what we're currently witnessing in Benue State?
Let me first sympathize with the very good people of Benue State. But in terms of situating what has happened, I don't think there is a way to actually explain that. Because when incidents like that keep recurring, and not just incidents, we're talking of horrendous killings of people. We're talking of killing a whole number of people. And we keep on having this, year in, year out. Just like you've mentioned, it was the height of the, massacre, the killing in 2018 that I was deployed to Benue State, and I did 9 months there. It's unfortunate that even when we talk of our internal security operations, we don't do what in security terms and military terms is called after-action review, which is about institutional memories, because incidents will keep on happening. And if it has been happening even before 2018 that I was deployed there, we must have like a situation room that will have all the players, all the actors that are involved in our internal security operations to look at what has worked best, what have we not done, and of course, how do we just explain that all the time these things happen, and what we do first is to be stereotyping. In security operations, one of the major failures that we do is to quickly stereotype. You will hear, oh, they are herdsmen, they're Fulanis, they are this, they are that. When you are doing internal security operations and you want to contain it, you don't start stereotyping. You go for the criminals, the bandits. The criminals don't have flavors. They don't have. You don't have to, glamorize them by saying this. Immediately you do that, you fail in your operations, and that was one of the things that we tried to do when I was in Benue State, because like they would say, the elders will say, if the wall doesn't have a crack, lizards won't enter. And you now be talking of what about human intelligence? Yes, we've talked about technology. The people that went in there overnight won't just appear suddenly from nowhere. They must have been, hiding in some areas. Some people would have seen them. Benue State, to me, as it has been happening, is very unfortunate and sad. A lot of interplay of things. And once and for all, we must, our security operatives, the head of the security institutions must be able to sit down. Yes, you can't stop crime totally, but this is not just a crime. This is insurgents. This is like a terrorism act. And the same kind of actors have been doing this. With what we did within 9 months that I was there, we were able to put the things under control to an extent until they brought in Operation Ayagbatuma or something like that. It is sad. I feel that our security heads must, you know, re-engineer themselves. We shouldn't be working in silos. As of the time I got to Benue State in 2018, we had the Forest Guard, we had the unit, they call Operation Zenda. And of course, everyone wants to outdo each other. When security people are working and you want to outdo each other, you will fail. You mustn't work in silos. There are elements that the military must do. There are elements that the police must also do. And that is the clear difference between internal security operations and, wars between nations. So where you need to use massive force, to quell whatever that is happening, you must also have a way of easing yourself out so that as you're leaving, the other organs of internal security operations will be able to maintain the ground. This kind of incident is like asymmetric warfare. It's different from when a country will fight another country. You won't know where this element will come out. So that is why there must be presence at all times, which probably, between the military and the police, they must agree on as to what we do. Like I said, in 2018, I found out that all these units are working, at cross purposes. Everyone wants to outdo each other. And I had to rein in then to say, look, Operations Zenda is made up of much of police mobile people. They want to outdo the state police command. You have the military element. You have the forest guard. We found out that they were sellout as well. It is high time that what is happening in Benue, we've been saying it, we've been mouthing it, but proper action must be put into it.
You know, it's interesting. Some of what it is that you have said, I think the CDS also reiterated. He talked about insider information. He said the precision with which these people attacked suggested that they knew they had insider information. He also spoke about, we'll certainly play the track of the CG so that I do not quote him out of context. But we have a number of things here. You have talked about stereotyping the conflict, which some people will say immediately stands out for them when they listen to the speech of the president, when he talks about warring parties, he talks about communal clash. But there are those who have resisted this narrative, that there are no warring parties in this instance and that there is no communal clash. That yes, indeed, there have been historical antecedents, but some of these attacks that we have seen are usually unprovoked. From your own experience, is this narrative stereotyping and making wars the pains that the people already feel?
Why I had talked of stereotyping is I listened to the conversation yesterday on this channel and things that have been happening in other parts of the country. When you say it's the Fulani element, is the herdsmen, this is beyond that. In 2018, I could say that that was what I found out. Because the people that will help you, especially in human intelligence, when you have stereotyped and you say, oh, this attack is straight from the Fulani, you probably have some Fulani elements within the same community that have been integral part of that community that would want to come out to give you intelligence. But if you've stereotyped, they will stay back. It was like when we started with Boko Haram. Everybody kept on saying, oh, Muslims, 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 Islam, 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 until they also started killing Muslims and destroying mosques. So the good elements from the group you are stereotyping, you send them away. They are also part of the intelligence, the human intelligence. So in order to get what we call a whole society approach, you must be able to bring the whole elements together. So immediately you stereotype the person that wants to bring his face out, that wants to come and tell you that this is what I've seen. He will say, oh, if I go there, they will say, I'm from that tribe that is causing the trouble. There is the likelihood that they will mob me. So he will withdraw whatever intelligence he wants to give you. The people that are behind this are purely to be described as criminal elements. So it is in the process that you would also be able to identify the insiders that must have been there. Benue State is complex. It is, it's a vast land. There are so many areas, through which you can penetrate the state. Yelwata is like a border place to Nasarawa in
Indeed.
Guma
And
local government.
in this instance, the governor of the state did speak to intelligence. He said that the governor of Nasarawa State, he thanked him for sharing intelligence with them. Yeah, he said, yeah, that they shared some intelligence which left one woman dead on the Nasarawa axis. So I don't know if there was intelligence and there was word from the governor of Nasarawa State that such a thing was going to happen. We're not privy to the extent of the intelligence. How come is it then that this particular conflict or this particular, massacre was not prevented?
It is even a good thing that they're sharing intelligence now. Before, it used to be that Benue will accuse Nasarawa of shielding these people. Because Yelwata, Daudu, those are the border areas. And these infiltrators have always come from there. There are elements that some people would say, oh, they are not even Nigerians. They have their distinct characteristics. And if the intelligence is shared, how much of it did the security people use? And that is where working in silos would not help. In things like that, and since we've been having this Benue State, it has to be, coordinated, integrated, massive deployment. You don't just put maybe 5 soldiers here, 5 policemen there. We're not talking to each other. Everyone is working towards, let it be that they will say, oh, it's my institution that, that have stopped this.
So you think that could also be part of the reason why this
major thing that is affecting our internal security operations is because we don't have a true and genuine integrated approach to what we do. On the surface, the heads, we talk together, they'll say we're working together, but on the ground, it's more of, people wanting to outdo each other. And it will not work for us.
Let's take a listen to what the Inspector General of Police said, as well as the CDS.
On behalf of the Nigerian Police Force, I extend our deepest condolences to Your Excellency, your government and people of Benue State, the bereaved families, and all citizens who have been affected by this attack. I'm sure, Your Excellency, you have spoken with Mr. President on this incident. You have known how saddened Mr. President was on hearing the news of a fresh attack on another vulnerable community in Benue State, and his commitment to ensure that this reign of impunity by criminal gangs and terror elements end in our country. An attack on any community in Nigeria is an attack on the entire nation. Your Excellency, I want to assure you that the Nigerian Police Force will stand with you and the good people of Benue State. We are going to continue to work tirelessly with you and in close synergy with other security agencies to ensure that peace, lasting peace, return to Benue State.
The very day this carnage took place, you called to condole with us and to assure us of your support and your team. And today you're here yourself, just within days, and after this you're going to see for yourself where the incident occurred. We are bleeding. We are in sorrow. I believe your visit is going to uplift our spirits and build within us formidable assurance of the fact that we are not alone, and you continue to be there for us, to support, and to do this journey together with us.
Well, that was the governor of the state responding to the statement by the IGP. Well, Mr. Owoseni, there are those who are alleging political underpinnings to this. You may want to speak from experience if that ever plays any role, if that has played any role before, and if even after you left, you could sense any kind of political underpinnings in this, because there are those who are saying the governor is not, well, some people in the party, some former governors, are not in cahoot with the governor of the current governor. There are some, we have had legislators from the same state, coming out and saying, that the governor is not listening to them and all those things. Do you think it is possible that political underpinnings could have played a role? Because there's a veiled statement made by the president as well, asking that everyone in the state should go find a way to live together in harmony. That suggests, something, don't you think?
That is unfortunate. It is not right. You don't colorate security issues politically, religiously, or in any form whatsoever. Whoever that is, the governor of a state has a responsibility. Whether some people are with him or they are against him or whatever, the security of the state rests squarely on the table of the governor. And he should be able to harness all resources he has. Where a governor feels that it is not possible, he should also be able to cry out. The security commanders on the ground too, they also have a responsibilities. It's not about, we are waiting for this command or what. That is why I had started with don't colorate. If you colorate to say, they are elements of these tribes. When I got to Benue State, they were coming up with, there are elements of this tribe. If you do this, because the president is from this tribe, they will query you. No, I knew then that I had a responsibility to the constitution of this country. I had a responsibility to the people of that state. And that is what every security commander should have in mind when tackling this. So it will be sad to now start colorating to say, the governor is this. The governor too should be able to boldly come out to say, yes, I have these resources. These are the gaps I have. These are the areas you can help me. And the security heads, yes, the IG has said we're going to work in synergy with all other security. It's not just about at the top. The grand commanders, the tactical commanders must be able to deploy massively. The situation in Benue State and in some other states require massive deployment. It requires using all whatever tools that you have. And it's not just when you deploy, you must be able to sustain it. After sustaining it, if you have a win, you should be able to say that, to say, this win we have, what are the elements that make us to succeed? What have we not done right? That is where you will talk of the United States and whatever. The US started what they call knowledge management, best practices, after action review, lessons learned. So those are the elements that we seem not to be putting together, and the need to properly do a genuine integration when we are doing such an operation.
Well, Mr. Owoseni, there is another fear that has been expressed. Senator David Mark.
Well, Ayo was, he also, I think that the words of the Inspector General of Police were very telling, because he said, he talked about attack on another vulnerable community. He didn't talk about intercommunal clash. He didn't talk about warring parties. Do you think that there is also a misinformation going on somewhere? Because yes, the president has said he's going to visit Benue tomorrow, but on the ground, do you think that he's getting the right, the right intelligence which should inform the speech that he gives to the people of Benue and also to the country at large?
That is where narratives now come into place. You must get, a proper assessment, a threat analysis, a proper assessment of the situation in ground. You know why this is painful? We're talking of, because the Yawanta Daudu area, they have a lot of IDPs there. These are people that have otherwise been pursued from their homes to a place where you have kept them. I won't see any reason why we would not be able to provide the basic security for them. We know this has always been recurring. So it is not about just deploying, in bits and pieces. We must be able to sustain our deployment. And from what we've listened to, if the proper narrative is not being given, if it is what they're telling the president is about, look, the governor is not listening to this, there's a political divide in the state. There will always be political divide in every state. I met the same political divide. But it is now left for the security people to take themselves out of that. I would not expect any security head, security leader to be talking about a political divide. You have no business as a security head with whatever that is the political divide. Yours is to discharge your obligations to the society to make sure that, the responsibility that is given to you to secure the people, to ensure that people live without, let or hindrance. You are able to discharge on that. So let the politicians be talking their politics. You face your security work. And I would now expect that the security head, the CDS, the chief of army staff, the chief of air staff, we have one of the, the biggest Air Force base there. They must sit that together. And when they do that, they also must walk the talk. They should be able to pass that to the commanders on the ground, to the tactical commanders, not after the television talk. When you leave, your tactical commanders bring in attitudes. When I was in Benue State, I was lucky, and I'm grateful to God. I had the special forces of the police. The special forces of the police were trained in Belarus, and they were trained with our military, and they were able to work together. These were units that were trained in all those insurgency, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism.
And they're still there within the police force.
The police still have the special forces. How much of them they're using, I don't know. Because the police special forces, the military special forces, they fused together. General Yekini was the commander of the operation Ayagbatuma. We were able to sit that together. And, as the commissioner of police that has the lead, a role in internal security, it is for you. Let down your guard, go down to the grassroots, because the boots on the grounds, sometimes they don't carry out the brief gotten from the commanders. So you must see to it that the boots on the ground are working harmoniously. If you have 5 soldiers here and you have 5 policemen 100 meters away, and something is happening, and they say, oh, no, it's not our position that they've attacked. No, the situation in Benue State and in some other parts of the country that we're having now require a proper integration, because the rules of engagement of the agencies are different. If the military have been able to conquer a place, there must be proper handing over to the police that will help the civil authority in governance. But if you look at what we have now, we don't seem to have that. And that is why I think, the commanders, the heads, the chiefs must sit down together. How do you translate it to the boots on the ground? Then motivation comes in. And that is where most of the state governors come in. When it comes to such a thing, no amount is too big to spend. Make sure that you motivate the guys, and where they are lacking in some equipment, find a way of providing for them. Then the element of the society. I was listening yesterday, someone was talking about state police. We've not been able to distinguish between state policing. What they have in the US is not about state police. is all society policing. When you talk of all society policing, you put the element of the vigilante, the traditional rulers, the state actors as well. You be able to marry them together, and we must be able to sustain whatever we put on the ground.
Well, there are so many more questions to ask you. I mean, for instance, I wanted to also take you up on the issue of the morbidity counts, the fact that we have not been able to agree on how many people actually died in that crisis and why this seems to continue to be a recurring decimal, especially when we know that it affects trust at the end of the day. But yeah, we're hoping that, as the president visits and all the, security chiefs continue to visit Benue, that there will be a lasting solution to this particular crisis. We have to thank you for your insights into the matter.
Thank you.
Mr. Fatai Owoseni is Special Advisor on Security Matters in Oyo State, but was once Commissioner of Police in Benue and Lagos States. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.